Good evening and a very warm welcome to this edition of the online devotional. It's a pleasure to have you. Bwana asifiwe. We continue our reflections on growth lessons from Prophet Jeremiah. And so today we are going to be looking at Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 2. And the subject at hand is recommitment. Now, the groundwork has been set. As far as the mission of Jeremiah is concerned, that is what we have been considering. We have been looking at what it is that he ought to do: to pull down, to uproot, to destroy, to overthrow, to plant, to build. All these things, that is what he is supposed to do. And now, in Jeremiah chapter 2, he is given, the assignment now is given in specific terms. Now he is sent to go and proclaim. And this is what he is told to go and do, and that is what we are going to be looking at in Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 2. He is told in Jeremiah 2:2, "Go and proclaim in the hearing of Jerusalem, I remember the devotion of your youth, how as a bride you loved me and followed me through the desert, through a land not your own." Now, this is the first assignment that is given to Jeremiah. And what is he told to do? He is told to go and make a proclamation. And what is he asked to go and proclaim? He is told to proclaim in the hearing of the people that the people of Jerusalem should not make one mistake. They should not think that God has forgotten. God has not forgotten the devotion of their youth. God has not forgotten the good that they were. God has not forgotten that there is a time that the children of Israel, in what he calls their youthfulness, they were following him. They trusted him. But you see, what has happened is that now they do not trust God. And he is about to unleash his judgment on them. But one thing that must be clear to them is that whatever God does, that does not mean that he has forgotten their devotion, their past devotion. There is a day in the past when they were devoted. In fact, it is because of that past devotion that the Lord is so annoyed with the present state of affairs. And so the message comes and it says, I remember the devotion of your youth. I remember how you followed me. I remember how you trusted me. I remember how your forefathers trusted me. But now what has happened? Because you no longer do as your forefathers did. And so let us now put this in perspective. God is saying through this text, God is telling us that He remembers the time when we were devoted to Him. God is saying that there is a time in the past when we were having a good relationship with Him, when we were committed to Him. But now things have changed. And one thing that we must be sure is that it is not God who has changed, because God does not change. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It is us who has changed. It is us who have left our original devotion and commitment. And so today we are talking about a recommitment. The appeal here is to go back to our original commitment. The appeal here is to remember how far we have fallen and to go back. If we want to grow, then the one thing that we must do is we must take stock and look at how far we have fallen. Look at the things that we have neglected. And remember how things were when we were committed. How life was far much better when we had a going relationship with God. And now we need to go back to that relationship with God. And God is saying, I still remember. I still long for those days. I still long for those days when you are doing keshas. I still long for those days when you are doing fasting. I still long for those days when you are giving testimonies. I still long for those days when you are doing fellowships. I still long for those days when you are witnessing for me. If we want to grow in our spiritual life, then we must recommit ourselves. We must go back. We must trace ourselves to a point in the past when things were okay, and learn from that lesson and learn from that past. Even in our other lives, other social lives, economic lives, let us go back in time. Let us remember how things were when things were working. And we can relive those so-called the golden years. And so, if we want to grow, we can borrow a leaf from the past. And so God is reminding the children of Israel, I remember the devotion of your youth. Yes, I remember the devotion of your youth. How as a bride you loved me. Yes, and you followed me, even through very difficult situations. And God is still reminiscing on those good old days. Now, imagine the kind of heartache that we put God through when He has to remember how we were committed to Him. And the reason why He is telling us this is because He longs for us to recommit. And the reason why He is longing for our recommitment is because His commitment still stands. He does not change. No, He has not changed. Ever since He made a covenant with Abraham, ever since He made a covenant with Moses and the children of Israel at Sinai, when He made a covenant with David in days past, he has kept his part of the bargain. And what God has said he will do, he has done. And what he has not done, he will still do. And so, in reminding us that there is a time when we were on track, he is actually giving us an opportunity to go back, to recommit ourselves to him, so that we can have a good and a better relationship with him. So, that is all that we are looking at. We are looking at recommitment. So the question that I pose for you and for me is, are we ready to grow? Then we need to recommit ourselves. Yes, let us remember when things were working, what is it that was happening? Of course, we know where the rain started beating us. Yes, if we look back, we will know and we will appreciate where the rain started beating us, and we can go back. So the Lord is telling us, I remember you are committed. I remember you are devoted. I remember how you trusted me. Let us go back there. So may the Lord help us so that in our own small way, we can recommit ourselves to him and we can go back so that we can start on a path of growth. Because if we do not do that, then there will be dire consequences. So may the Lord help us to recommit ourselves to him so that we can be on a path of growth. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. God bless you.